Well, thank you for joining me for part 11 of the Sunshine Kisses and Fairy Wishes crochet along. This section is called Nefertiti's Usek Collar by Tiffany. Tiffany is another one of our fabulous testers. So let's get started. Now we begin row 1 on the wrong side, please. Everybody flip your work over, check where your marker is if you have one. We're starting on the wrong side and we're just going to make our first row of single crochet. So join in the first stitch, or you may have a chain 1 and a turn. You need a single crochet in that first stitch. I just made a standing single crochet. And then I'll reconvene with you for row 2 because all we're doing here is making single crochet all the way down the line. Alright, so let's get that done and we'll come back soon. So at the end of row 1 we finish off with a chain 2 and then we turn. Okay, and we are now back to the beginning, back to the front of our work. So row 2 starts with this chain representing your first double crochet, or you may have one of those starting stitches. Now we are going to go straight into the repeats, and it begins with the bold square brackets with one extended single crochet in the next stitch. So here's my next stitch over here because the chain counts for this one. Extended single crochet, if you've never done one, is very easy. No yarn overs, just go straight into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through only one loop, the very first one, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Easy peasy. Now we're going to make a double crochet in the next stitch, which is over here, like that. And now we're going to make a bead stitch. And the bead stitch is made around the post of this double crochet that we just made. So to make the bead stitch, you yarn over and pull up a loop around the post of the double crochet. Once, twice, and 3 times, so that you end up with 7 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you yarn over and you pull through all of the loops but the last one. You hang on to that last one and then yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops. And when it lays down, you get this nice horizontal, it's almost a horizontal puff, but it's called a bead stitch. Right, now we're going to skip 1 stitch so you can see clearly that your double crochet is in there. So we're going to skip this stitch over here and come over to the next one, and we start our repeat again. We start with an extended single crochet, so down into that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, then yarn over and pull through 2. Easy. You see it? Let's do it again. So that's that first bit. Now we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch next to that extended single. So we have the extended single there and a double crochet there. And now we make the bead stitch. It helps if you just twist your work a little bit. Rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise if you're a lefty. Yarn over, pull up a loop once. Yarn over, pull up a loop twice. Yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times. Yarn over, pull through the 6 loops, leaving the last one on with your other loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. And that completes the repeat with the skipping of the next stitch. So they're lining up horizontally, the bead stitches, and these extended single crochet look really pretty because they look like 2 chains stacked on top of each other, but they're not actually chains. Let's do one more. So there's the double crochet in there. We skip the next one, and in the next one we put an extended single crochet. Then we make a double crochet next to it. Let me get my yarn out of the way. And then we make the bead stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times. Once, twice, and 3 times. Yarn over, pull through all but the last. Yarn over, pull through 2. How pretty is that? Again, that one's got something in it. Skip 1 over here. We make an extended single crochet. Pull through 1 loop first, then pull through both. then make a double crochet that we're going to wrap our bead stitch around, yarn over, go round that double crochet 3 times, pulling up a loop, 2 and 3. Make sure they're close to all the same length so that they just stack on top of each other like that. Okay, that's it. I'll do one final one, nothing there, skip that one, extended single crochet in the next, a double crochet next to it to use for the bead stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times, yarn over, pull through all but the last one, and yarn over, pull through 2, and that completes the repeat again. So you're going to do that all the way down, okay, until you get to the last 3 stitches actually, because the end of the repeat skips one. So your bead stitch your double crochet will go in here with the bead stitch around it. Then we will skip this stitch, the third one from the end, because that's part of the repeat, and then we'll put some stitch work in here. So I'll meet you here with the final bead stitch and we'll finish up the side together. See you soon. Here I am just completing the final repeat. So I'll just do my last bead stitch, 2 and 3, pull through and then pull through, and so now we skip. That's the last action, so we have to skip that third last stitch, and then we just make an extended single crochet in the next one like that, and a double crochet into the last one, and that's the row complete. And then we just have to chain 1 so that we can turn and move on to row 3. So I'll let you finish that one up if you haven't already, and then back in a minute. Row 3, and before we start, let's just take a quick look at what we've got here. We need to understand that each one of these bead stitches has 2 components, so you're going to see 2 sets of top loops. So here are the top loops of the extended single crochet, almost couldn't say it, the extended single crochet there. Then we made the double crochet, and those are the top loops of the double crochet, and then we made the bead stitch and closed it off. Remember how we pulled through 2 all and then left 2 and then we pulled through 2. So that's that final set of loops for the bead stitch. And then again we start again with the extended single crochet, double crochet, bead stitch. So bearing that in mind, when you turn over to start row 3 now, we'll get started. This will help us to understand the placement of the stitches. If I can untangle myself, there we go. Now, so we start with a single crochet in the same stitch as the chain 1, which was that double crochet we just made in the previous row. Then we need to put a single crochet into the extended single crochet, and you can tell the extended single crochet by this quite elongated loop that is on the side of it there. So 1 in there. Now it says we start the repeat, 1 single crochet in the bead stitch, and because the bead stitch closing was the last thing we did, it's the first thing we're going to see. There it is right there. So 1 single crochet in there, then 1 single crochet into the double crochet, and away we go, and 1 single crochet into the extended single crochet right there. That's your whole repeat. So 1 single crochet, it starts 1 single crochet in the bead stitch, then 1 single crochet into the double crochet, and then 1 single crochet into the extended single crochet. That's all you're going to do all the way around. Okay, now if you worry that you're going to have extra stitches, just remember that we did skip a stitch below. So the bead stitch occupies 2 stitches. One of them has the double crochet in it, and one of them was skipped. So you're not going to end up with extra stitches. We're going to end up with exactly the same amount of stitches that we started with. That's the double crochet, and there's the extended single. Alright, get that done all the way down, so your stitch count should now again be 216. If it helps you, count in 3s. Start with the bead stitch. 1 there, the second one there, and the third one there. 1, 2, 3. Bead stitch, 1, double crochet 2 and extended single 3, and that's how you're going to be able to keep your stitch count in check. Right, so we need to go all the way down to the end. When you get to the end, don't forget you still have bead stitch, the double crochet from the bead stitch, then the extended single crochet here. If you look at it from the other side, you can see that's the extended single crochet, and then you also have either your chain or your starting stitch at the end, so don't miss that one. There are 2 stitches to go in here, one in there and one at the very end before your extended single that we did at the beginning. So one in the bead, one in the double crochet, one in the extended single crochet, and one into your turning chain if you have a turning chain. Alright, or your starting stitch. Okay, so make sure you've got 216, chain 1 and turn, and we'll come back together for row 4. Row 4, we're going to be making single crochet 3 together stitches here. So we have a note telling us to keep them loose to prevent them from pulling, and I think the suggestion might be that to do a few and see if they're too tight, you might go up a hook size, and then remember to come down afterwards, please. Anyway, I have a chain 1 from the turn, so I need to put a single crochet into that same first stitch, and then a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, just like that. Now we're going to make a single crochet 3 together, and the blue hint in the pattern tells you starting in the same stitch as the last single crochet. So we're going to start right back in that space again, make a single crochet 3 together. To do that, we do this: we go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, then we go into the next stitch and pull up another loop, and then we go into the third stitch and pull up another loop. So we've got 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all of them, and then chain 1. That's the next instruction, chain 1. Don't forget that chain 1, that's pretty important. And the repeat starts again, single crochet 3 together, starting in the same stitch where you ended. So pull up a loop in there, pull up a loop in the next stitch, pull up a loop in the third stitch, yarn over, pull through all of them, and chain 1. And now do your little stretch test. Mine seems okay so far. Let's keep going. Start where you finished in the same stitch, pull up a loop, go to the next one, pull up another loop, go to the third one, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through all of them, and chain 1. That chain 1 is going to be critical. So mine seems to be alright. It's not too tight, so I'll just make one more, starting in the same stitch, pull up a loop in the second, and then in the third, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1. So one of the tricks you can use if you're worried is when you're pulling up your loop, give it a bit of a kick at the end, lift it higher if you need to start making the stitches a bit loose. I think I do that instinctively anyway. You may have seen me doing that. I just go pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull through all, chain 1. So I seem to be doing okay stretch wise, so I'm going to finish off with this hook. So you're to do that all the way down till you get to your last 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. So your final single crochet 3 together, pardon the traffic, will come across these 3 stitches, and you'll be left with 3, and all we're going to do is put a single crochet in each of them. So I'll catch up with you there and we turn together. So here I am, I've finished all of my stitches and I've made my final chain 1. Please don't forget that final chain 1, and I have 1, 2, 3 stitches left, and I'm going to put a single crochet into each one of those, and that's row 4 done. Nice and easy. Now we just need to chain 1 so we can turn again. So there we go. It's very pretty actually. So there's our bead stitch, and here are our single crochet 3 together. Alright, let's finish that up and return for row 5. Row 5, now remember guys, if you did change hook size, you need to go back to your original for this, so don't forget to do that. Now the first thing we need to do is put a single crochet into the very first stitch where the chain is, and then one single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Okay, so that we end up with 3 single crochet at the very beginning of our work. Alright, now we're going to start our repeat, and we're going to start making single crochet all the way down, but we have to watch where our placement is. Well, we do and we don't, because all I really need to do is make sure that I have a single crochet for every one of these stitches. So some of them are the single crochet 3 together, and some of them are the chain loop that we did. Now if we turn over and just take a quick look at how the stitches are made up, and lefties, I apologize, but it'll be all reversed for you. So these loops, this set of loops here belongs to the single crochet 3 together. Because I'm a righty and I pull my stitches to the right, that's why my loops are to the right. For the lefties, you're in reverse. Then these 2 loops here are my chain that I made after each set. Okay, so knowing that, that means that when we reverse, the loops are going to be in reverse order. So the first set of loops that I see will be the chain up here right on top of the stitch. You can just see the back of the stitch here. These top loops here are my chain, and these loops to the side, this gap, are the single crochet 3 together. Now look, it really doesn't matter, but it does. But it doesn't, but it does, because if you're going to do what the pattern tells you and put a single crochet in the chain 1 space, you've got to know where that is. The first one is easy because it's right after a single crochet, and you can see it right there. That's the chain space. So put a single crochet in there. Now we need to put a single crochet in the top of the single crochet 3 together. Rotate. You can see there's the stitch, and there are the top loops. Now I've put a single crochet in the chain space, so that's gone. I need to come over here into that stitch there to put, let's take the slack out, put a single crochet in there. Now that's the only time it's really going to be easy, because now my next chain space is right next to it, right there, right? But to get into the chain space, see this loop here? That belongs to the next single crochet. That's the, sorry, not the single crochet 3 together from over here. So to get under the chain space, you've got to go inside of that loop because it belongs to the stitch. Then you go back here to your single crochet 3 together. I know you're probably thinking, what is she talking about? But if I turn this over and you look at the stitch from the other side, when you make your single crochet 3 together here, see that loop there? That's the one I'm trying to get past. It's very hard to see. See that loop? That loop right in there, that one there, belongs to the single crochet together right there. It's the last loop of the single crochet right in there. I'm belaboring this. It's there. And that's what you're going to see first when you're trying to make your single crochet into the chain space. That's why you need to get in front of it. And I say in front, so that applies to you lefties. You've got to go in front of it. Even if you're coming from the other direction, you're still going in front of it. Righties, we're going here, going in front of it for the chain space. So you can really try very hard to get into the right spots. There's the single crochet 3 together. Here's my next chain space. I've got to get past that loop into the gap. There is another way you can do it, and I'll show you that in a second. There's my single crochet 3 together. Next chain space is in front of that loop, so I've got to go in front of it. There, and then my single crochet 3 together. If you're really bothered about all of this, then just aim for the top loops of everything. Just rotate forward a bit and get under those top loops. That's your chain, that's your single crochet 3 together. I'll try and do it better so you can see. I need my yarn. There's the chain. You can just grab the top loops. It's easier when you're not trying to talk to a camera. And there's the single crochet 3 together. But it's also just as easy to remember that there's that loop there and go in front of it, because that's where your chain space is. Alright, that is not your chain space, because you've just used that space. That's the single crochet 3 together, so you've got to go one loop over. Alright, I've probably confused you more than I've helped you, but it's just really a question of getting the right stitch count. So just push down where that loop is. It's there. Just push in front of it and in you go, you're in. And then grab the single crochet 3 together. Sometimes it's going to be not so obvious, but if you trust the fact that there is a gap there, so the hook will just naturally push into it. If you just gently put the weight of the hook down in front of that loop, and it will go in. It looks like you're going to the wrong spot, but you're not. I've almost done my entire row. I was trying to explain this to you, and I've just snagged a thread now, which I have to get out of the way. There it is. Alright, I'll leave you to finish, which I'm almost finished. In fact, I am almost finished, so I may as well just finish, hey? So, my little sampler is a lot easier to get across than your full-size blankets will be. So just be patient. If you slow down the first few times you do it, you should get into a rhythm. So here we are at the end, and I now have my final 3 stitches left, 1, 2 and 3, and I'm just going to put a single crochet into each of those. Now if you need to fudge, just fudge, no one's ever going to know. So there it is from the side we made it. When you're finished, chain 2 and turn, and we'll return for row 6. Row 6. Now my chain 2 counts as the first half double crochet. You may have a starting half double crochet. We need to make another half double crochet in the second stitch. There's the first one, that's the chain. In the second one here, 1 half double crochet. Oop, fiddle. Now we're going to make a half double crochet 2 together over the 3rd and 5th stitches. We're going to skip the 4th altogether. So yarn over into the 3rd stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over again, come over to the 5th stitch, skip the middle one, the one in between, and pull up another loop. Now we have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all of them, like that. Then we're going to make another half double crochet in the same space, the stitch we finished in just now, right there where the half double crochet 2 together ended. So there's my half double crochet 2 together, and there's my extra half double crochet in that same stitch where it ended. The previous one ended. Okay, so now we've reached the bold square bracket, so we're going to do this all the way down. This is our repeat. It starts with 1 half double crochet 2 together. Now read the blue hints. It says over the same stitch as the second leg of the previous half double crochet 2 together, where the half double crochet is, right in here. So we're starting there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop in the same spot we just finished in. Yarn over, we're going to skip the middle stitch, the next one, and come over to the one after. Now we have 5 loops again, yarn over and pull through all. And then we put another half double in the same spot where we ended. I know it seems confusing, but just bear with me. It'll come together in your head. Don't worry. So I see I have 3. You can actually see it really clearly. We have 3 components in that one stitch. This is the end of the first half double crochet 2 together. This is the half double crochet on its own, and this is the beginning of the next half double crochet 2 together. So you've got 2 parts of 2 stitches and 1 complete stitch in that same stitch. Alright. When you start the next one, you're going over the top of a skipped stitch here. Okay, you make them like that. So let's start again. Yarn over, we start where we finished for the half double crochet 2 together. Yarn over again, skip 1, go to the next stitch, pull up another loop, 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all of them. Make a half double crochet in the same spot you just finished in, That's the end of the actual repeat, and then it starts again in the same spot. Yarn over, pull up a loop in the same spot again, yarn over, skip one, into the next one, pick up another loop. 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. Half double crochet in the same spot. Can you see it? So in the middle of all of these groups of 3 is the plain half double right there. That's the plain half double. That's the end of one stitch. That's the beginning of another. Okay, do one more. You start where you finished with the half double crochet 2 together. You skip one and come over here to complete the half double crochet 2 together. Pull through all and a half double crochet into the same spot before you start again. Yarn over, pull up a loop, skip, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all, half double crochet in the same spot, start the next stitch in the same spot, skip over to here, half double crochet in the same spot. Alright, so you're going to do that all the way down, and you will finish. Actually, you know what? How about you stop when you get to this second last bead stitch, and I'll meet you here and then we'll finish up together. That's probably best. I've just popped in before I finished my side to show you how easy it is to go wrong. I was going along mirroring and I looked down the line and I thought something doesn't look right. So every one of my stitches has 3 components. You can see them, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I come over here and I see a big hole. And I think, what's happened here? I've got one there and I've got no center half double crochet. That's where you're going to lose a stitch if you're going to lose a stitch. So I just thought I'd show you that we all make these mistakes. So I'm going to have to just pull back. See how I didn't make the extra half double crochet in there. So just take your time and get this right. So then I can continue because I was missing a stitch in the center. Start the next one, skip across, half double crochet in the same spot. So I'll just stay with you till I get to the end now since I'm here. Start the next one, skip and complete it, and half double crochet in that spot. Now that looks better, it's more uniform. So now I need to make, I think, one more. One there and one over here, and a half double crochet as well. And that finishes the repeats. So now we have to do the little end bit. It's a little bit different, so just watch what you're doing here. So we start with the half double crochet beginning where we ended, the half double crochet 2 together, and the next stitch. So we're using where we started, where we finished I should say, and the next stitch. We're actually not going to skip a stitch this time, so you go straight into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through all. And then we put a half double crochet into the same stitch we just finished in. And then the very last thing we're going to do is put a half double crochet in each of these last 2 stitches. One in there and one in there. Okay. I'm going to pull it out and do it again for you because it can be a little bit confusing when you get to the end. So when you've finished all of your repeats, you finish with a half double crochet and you should have only 3 stitches left. So we start a final half double crochet 2 together, starting where we've ended and using the very next stitch with no skips. So you started there, you come over to the next stitch, no skips, yarn over, pull through all, and you also put a half double crochet where you just finished. And then 1 half double crochet in the remaining 2 stitches. And that finishes the side. So take a minute and look down the line as you're working. If you see any unusually large gaps, you may have missed the half double crochet in between. So stop and check that so that your stitch count is correct. Alright, I'll leave you with that and then we'll reconvene for row 7. Okay, hopefully row 6 wasn't too strenuous. When you finish row 6 you need to chain 1 and turn, and we are now back to the wrong side of our work again. There's my little thingy. And I don't think we have a photo for this round in the pattern itself, but it's not a difficult round. We start with a single crochet in the same space we just turned from and made that chain 1, and then a single crochet in every single stitch all the way down. So as long as you got row 6 done correctly, your stitch count should be correct. If you didn't miss any of those half double crochet, then you'll be perfectly fine. So you can, if you haven't already checked your stitch count, do it now. Take your stitch markers out and count the way down. Make sure you still got 216 stitches. Alright, let's get this one done. It's nice and easy. At the end of it I need a chain 2 right at the end here, and remembering that the first stitch of the previous row here was my chain 2. You may have a starting stitch, but you've got to get a stitch into this half double crochet and into your turning chain, and then we'll come back together again for row 8. Okay, so to start row 8 we need to have finished row 7 with a chain 2 and a turn, or some starting stitches for the equivalent. And so this chain 2 represents my first double crochet, and we're going to do basically the same as we did in row 2. We're going to start immediately in the next stitch with an extended single crochet, which was yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, then yarn over, pull through 2. Then we make a double crochet in the next stitch because we're making bead stitches, just like we did down here. And now we're going to make the bead stitch around the post of the double crochet, down from the top, up from the front, oops, without snagging other things, which is exactly what I just did. What a mess that was, eh? Do it again. Yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times around the double crochet, 2 and 3, yarn over, pull through all but the last loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Skip a stitch, that one's used, skip a stitch, another extended single crochet, double crochet in the next, bead stitch around the double crochet once, twice and 3 times, pull through all but the last one. Everyone's coming home, must be dinner time, and that's it. Skip one, extended single crochet in the next, double crochet in the next, bead stitch around the double crochet once, twice and 3 times, pull through all but the last, yarn over, pull through 2. So there you go, it's the same as we did in row 2, okay, all the way down to the end. And we should be left, when you get to here, you should be left with only 2 stitches after you complete your bead stitch here in the third, sorry, you should be left with 3 stitches. You complete your bead stitch over here, your double crochet goes in there and the bead stitch around it, and you have to skip 1 stitch. That's always the last action after a bead stitch, is skip a stitch, and then in the last 2 we're going to put an extended single crochet there and a double crochet there. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn. So I'll get to there and then we'll turn around together and get the last row started of this section. Okay, here I am. I've finished my side. I have 3 stitches remaining, 1, 2, 3, as I said. The first one is the skip. It's the skip stitch at the end of the last repeat. So now all we're going to do is make 1 extended single crochet in the second last stitch and 1 double crochet in the last stitch, and then we chain 1 and turn, and that's the end of that. Okay, and for our last round we turn and we need to make just single crochet, but obviously we need to make sure we get every stitch. So we start with a single crochet in the same stitch as the turn, then a single crochet in the extended single crochet from before, and then you just rotate a bit so you can see single crochet in the bead stitch, single crochet in the double crochet. We did this down here with the other bead stitches. We did the exact same thing. I think that was row 3. So we're going to do it exactly the same. So single crochet into the extended single crochet into the top of the bead stitch, single crochet into the top of the double crochet, and then back again, single crochet into the extended single. So all the way down till you get to the end. Take the opportunity to check your stitch count again, but that brings us to the end of part 11. I won't finish now, but that's what it's going to look like. If I turn it over, that's what it's going to look like. From there to there, completed. It's very pretty, isn't it? So I'm just scrolling back to make sure that we are doing everything correctly. So we're finished now with Nefertiti's Uset collar by Tiffany. I hope you like it too. And when you look at it from a distance, you can't see it up close, but step back and look at it. And it does look like a beautiful beaded collar that would go around the neck of an Egyptian goddess. Okay, that's that for today. Let's put ATM on next, all of us. Let's go away and get that done, and then we'll reconvene for part 12. Bye for now.